Civility. It is what is necessary for an honest conversation to determine the truth that lies between perspectives. Recently, we saw cable news hacks and politicians calling for an end to civility, equating the time we are living in now to the 1930s. These people have given their signal for their brown shirts to carry out their duties.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
Michael Moore, were you civil?
I am. We're not talking about political differences. We're talking about thousands of children being kidnapped from their parents. When are people going to get off the couch, and when are we going to rise up? And I'm telling you, folks, to answer your question, the end game, sadly, is going to be Trump is not going to leave. He plans to be reelected. He loves the term president for life. The only way that we're going to stop this is eventually we're all going to have to put our bodies on the line. You're going to have to be willing to do this.
Put your bodies on the line, he says. A man who appears to have gone back in time and eaten Michael Moore. Michael Moore would put his own body on the line, but he has already given his body to type 2 diabetes. Actually, that's insensitive of me. I recently came into the information that Michael Moore actually identifies as Michael the Hutt now. This was, of course, on Late Night with Stephen Colbert, which is a non-stop propaganda machine, bringing up talking point after talking point. Just look at the YouTube page, look at that banner, and it says everything that you need to know about this. Just look at the way he's laying down there in that feminine-esque pose. That's such top-tier comedy. Perhaps you've heard about Kino Jimenez, a man in the video clip that you saw a little bit ago, tossing a drink into a teenager's face and stealing his MAGA hat. This man was simply doing what the great examples for society like Maxine Waters have called for him to do. When people talk of incivility, this is actually what it looks like.
The president. You ain't supporting shit, nigga.
Alright, have fun with it.
A few minutes later.
As always, when there is a situation like this one, a video like this that goes viral, there were immediately rumors that the boys were making rude and problematic comments leading up to the video, but the supposed anonymous witnesses have apparently retracted their statements, and outlets that ran that information had to correct it later that day. Kino would find that taking Maxine Waters' advice and approaching people you don't like with hostility would not work out well in his favor. It turns out, within the same day, Kino was identified on social media by his employers and fired. To help with his struggle against online trolls, Kino set up a GoFundMe and nearly got laughed off the internet. Within mere hours, his campaign was taken down, and the following morning, he turned himself into the police. I have reached out to Maxine Waters through social media to see if I can get a comment on this whole fiasco, but as of recording this video, she has not returned a comment. Surprising, I know. Speaking of Maxine Waters, Judicial Watch has filed a House ethics complaint against Maxine Waters for her comments that were shown earlier in this video. The complaint includes this excerpt by Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. In encouraging individuals to create crowds who will push back on President Trump's cabinet members at private business establishments, and in seemingly trying to prevent these cabinet officials from obtaining basic necessities without fear of assault and violence, Representative Waters seems to be in violation of House rules. Specifically, a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall conduct himself at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. House Rule 23, Clause 1. We hereby request that the Office of Congressional Ethics conduct a preliminary investigation into whether Representative Maxine Waters violated House rules in encouraging attacks on cabinet officials. Perhaps it is our turn to reclaim our time from Maxine Waters.
Reclaiming my time. What he failed to tell you was when you're on my time, I can reclaim it.
With the House
reclaiming
Intel
my
Committee,
time,
with the
reclaiming
Senate
my time,
Judiciary
reclaiming my
Committee.
time,
Okay.
reclaiming
Matter of
my
fact,
time.
Mr. Secretary,
reclaiming my
the time belongs to the gentlelady from California.
Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, I don't understand the rules because I
Reclaiming
thought I
my
was allowed to
time.
answer questions.
Reclaiming my time. Would you please explain the rules and do not take that away from my time?
Next, we have an interesting article from USA Today showing the top 50 shrinking U.S. cities. Many of these cities are seeing their citizens moving out in mass numbers, and there aren't many people moving in to take their place. Natural births are just enough to recover from those losses. Thriving cities should be generating enough appeal to draw people in, not push them away. This is a clear sign that something is wrong with the way that the cities are being ran. Here are the top 5 of these cities. Number 5 is Cleveland, Ohio, which saw a population decrease between 2010 and 2017 of 33,117 people. Number 4 would be St. Louis, Missouri. Population decrease due to migration between 2010 and 2017 is 39,894. Number 3 is Detroit, Michigan. Population decrease due to migration 2010 to 2017, 54,640. Los Angeles. Population decrease due to migration 93,959. And number 1 would be Chicago. Population decrease due to migration 296,320. I find it interesting that these cities pride themselves in being cultural centers. They want to draw all these people in, but for some reason, all of the people who are there are trying to get out. That should speak volumes to people who are interested in moving to the city. If people are trying to leave in mass numbers, it says something about how the place is ran. Very likely, these cities aren't great places to live. Next, we have an article from The Guardian. Now, The Guardian is a news outlet that I don't take very seriously. In fact, I usually just let The Guardian do its own thing in the corner, entertain itself, do whatever. I don't pay attention to them. I don't take them very seriously. But this article right here is emblematic of the entire racist movement. I think it's worth taking a moment to take a step back, pointing our fingers, and laughing collectively at this deranged woman. I stopped going to the gym because of Trump, and now I can't open jars. This is a long-winded article about how the author lost a bet to the owner of her gym about Trump winning, and this has led to her not going to the gym anymore. She started drinking lots of Diet Coke and eating lots of McDonald's, winning, as they call it. Now she sits there in disappointment as the jar she desperately needs to open is on just a little too tight for her. Well, all I have to say is it's her turn to open the jar. I missed being strong enough to open jars and carry groceries. So last week I returned to the gym, slinking back in as if no time had passed. I hoped that by wearing a puffy jacket and MC Hammer pants I could hide my lack of definition, that I could pretend that I had maintained my fitness all on my own. At home, running to the building next door on the couch while tweeting. But you can't hide fitness. You either have it or you don't. You can either lift the dumbbell or you can wobble on your 5th rep and drop the load. You are either strong or you are weak, and I was weak. The absolute state of The Guardian. The media has been very successful with their emotional propaganda, especially this past month. It is as important as ever to talk with people and convince them to disconnect from the mainstream shills that seek to work them up into a frenzy. Facebook is not a way to connect, it's a way to be connected to whatever the powers that be decide. The mainstream media will do everything it can to discredit and outright silence us, and the best thing that we can all focus on is to take away the influence that they have on the average Joe. All is not lost just yet. If we can show everybody who is really behind all of this, if we can have a moment of clarity and see the truth that is lying just beyond the veil, the flame of the West might continue. Alright, that will be the end of this video, but I wanted to put out a reminder to the people who are currently donating to my Patreon that even just a $1 donation gives you access to audio-only versions of all of my live streams, as well as audio-only versions of every video I put up. And I've been keeping up with it too. I've been adding in everything that I create over time, and that is all yours. If you want to use it for videos of your own, that's fine. I just wanted to give everyone that does donate to the channel a little bit extra. So if you're interested in that, that's where you can find it. And if you have difficulty locating all of the videos, let me know through email and we'll figure something out. Thank you everybody for not just your financial support, but also your encouragement to keep this channel going. It's been a lot of fun and I appreciate it. Thank you.